Good evening. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, dear guests, friends, colleagues. My name is Nadia, and it's really a great honor to welcome you here. I'm one of the founders of the ASBL Belbandura. It's a non-profit organization which has one very important and hard-left mission to introduce people in Luxembourg and neighboring countries to Ukrainian culture. So we are doing this through craft arts, through team buildings, through concert, and community building events, which we are trying to create connection between people and cultures, because it helps to the communication and it allows us to understand one another better. So I'm really happy to see you here on this event that is called Ukraine Root, Resilience, Renaissance. Some from you grew up in the European Union, and some of you came here recently. So we have different experience of life. I'm in between. I grew up in Ukraine, but now half of my life I'm living in Belgium. I feel deeply for what is happening in Ukraine, and on the same hand, I understand the attitude and the perception of local people. And sometimes there is kind of distance, a feeling that this doesn't concern me. But when I read a news that Ukrainian that was killed in 2014 and now is a Russian soldier because this person grew up last 11 years on occupied territories, I feel responsible as a Belgian citizen. I feel responsible for decisions, for the way things happened. And it won't be that sad, but the threat is big and it's very close. So after 11.5 years of the war, Ukraine has much to share with us here. There is a lot of innovations in technological, military, in medical sphere. There is unique social experience, and above all of this, there is extraordinary civil support of Ukrainian army. Life under pressure revealed incredible resistance and creativity of Ukrainians. And we cannot change the past, but we cannot learn from Ukraine and shape our future as we would like it to be. So, today's event, Ukraine, Root, Resilience, Renaissance, is a step in this direction. Our goal today is to let you discover Ukraine not only through politics and news, but through art, experience, and human stories. Now, it's a great pleasure for me to introduce the first speaker, Kateryna Mostova. She is the inspiration and the driving force of this evening. So Kateryna is Ukrainian photographer, artist, and sociologist with over 13 years of professional experience in portrait art, underwater, advertising, and documentary photography. Maybe you have heard about her very special and extraordinary project, Unveiled Ukraine, Splashes, or Coming to Life. If not, this is occasion to discover. And her works has been exposed in different countries, in Ukraine, in Belgium, in Luxembourg, in Netherlands, in USA, in Finland, in Sweden, and in Denmark. In a representation based on the art book My Ukraine, Kateryna will share with us a moving visual journey through her homeland, showing its beauty, its diversity, and its pain. Some of the places you will see no longer exist. Others are under occupation, but all of them lives on through you and your lenses and your eyes. After her presentation, you will have occasion to ask her a question. And now, please welcome Kateryna Mostova.
Thank you. Good evening. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for being here tonight with us. And as Nadia said, my name is Kateryna Mostova. I'm photographer. I'm sociologist. I'm originally from the east of Ukraine, from Luhansk, which is located on the border with Russia. And tonight I'm opening this event, so I feel a bit nervous, not a bit, a lot nervous and a lot. And it's first time when I'm presenting my book. So you will be the first audience who will know more about it, who will discover. Also I would like to tell you my personal experience, how I see, like in past, Russia propaganda. I want to explain by my own examples how it operates and what is historical roots of it. And I believe this is important because the mechanism of Russian Empire have not changed for centuries. But I will start not from Ukraine. I will start from here, from west of Europe. Last summer, my partner and I, we were traveling across France, and we explored Normandy, memorials, also military American cemetery. And what I noticed there, I saw a very high level of respect and remembrance of victims and heroes of the Second World War. After liberation, European countries began to rebuild and move toward sustainable development. But unfortunately, on the territories that ended up behind the Iron Curtain and became part of USSR, life was completely different. A life of fear, lack of rights, shortage, and repressions. Life in USSR was marked by endless number of broken destinies, repressions, family tragedies, the horror of Holodomor. And this touched almost every Ukrainian family. And as example, I want to show mine. So my parents are from opposite sides of Ukraine. Like my father was from Ivano-Frankivsk region and mom was from Luhansk region. But her roots are from center of Ukraine, from Poltava region, but they relocated to Donbass for work. And this is me, this mom, dad. And first I want to give you example of my mother, father, parents. His mom, this is her name is Melania. She was from well-off family, but actually it was just a hard-working family. And that time Soviet Union started so-called decolonization. So they were taking all property from such people, and the idea was to make this common owners like kolkhoz, where people work like for nothing. And so these people it was just common people who worked hard, who feel a little bit better than other, and most of them were killed, were repressed. And so for her to avoid this, she was trying to escape such situation, and she was looking for husband to get married and to change surname. And then she met my grandfather's father. He had already 3 children from the first marriage, and his first wife died. So they quickly got married. And he was manager of a village store. And in 1946 or 47, I don't know exactly, he was repressed under a fabricate case. And they had already 2 more children, and she left with 5 children alone. And later, the family received a letter saying that he had died, like so many others, of appendicitis. And to add insult to injury, no one even knew where he was buried. And another fact about her, in her youth, she went through Holodomor. In case you don't know, it was handmade famine in Ukraine. It was made by Stalin and his government. So she went through this. And when she was a very old person, she already got dementia, and she was always hiding bread under her mattress. I was little kid, I didn't understand this. And in our family, it was not speak a lot, because such things were kept in secret. It was not okay to discuss it. And actually, I didn't know details. And what I would like to tell, like it traumatized her that much that already long time after, she still was hiding bread not to die from hunger. Later on, and like all the secrets, we have it like in many families, because it was not okay to discuss with other people. Such things should kept in secret. And only few years ago, I realized that my mom, great father, was priest, and he was executed by Soviet authorities for that. So this is like just average family of Ukraine. And was mom part. And now we are going to father. My father's parents spent many years in labor camp as political prisoners in Gulag. And they were sent there for trying to defend their motherland from Soviet occupation. My grandmother was exiled when she was 18, and she served there are 12 years instead of 15 because of so-called when many political prisoners were released. But for another 10 years, she and her husband had no right to return home or in their region even. So that's why with 2 children, they have to go to Donbass, and they will live in they settled down there for 10 years, living under very harsh and poor conditions. Since my early childhood, my grandmother used to tell me stories about the camp, about the tortures, and her back was there twice broken. And also after camp, she had a lot of chronic disease. And she was telling me a lot of this. And she was telling me about who are Russians. And unfortunately, I lived near Russia border, and I used to take very skeptical her words. And because why I always like, they seems for me like they are our brother nation, and like as they said, and I think it's something like from the past. But I was terribly wrong. And after, especially in 2022, when Russia launched a full-scale invasion of Ukraine, the whole world saw the truth. And luckily, before my grandmother died, passed away, I had time to apologize and to tell her how sorry I am for that I didn't treat her experience seriously enough. And she was crying and thanking me for this. And I'm very happy that I had the opportunity to do this. So living near the Russia border, I thought everything was fine and would remain fine. I identified myself as Ukrainian, but I never questioned myself why we have Lenin close to churches, why we have Lenin and Ukrainian flags by, like, for me it was like not a question that time. Also, I never asked myself why am I Ukrainian person speak Russian, why is this is my native language. So I just accept daily life and accept this reality. But something with this reality never fit together, and I was trying to analyze like what's going wrong here, what is not coming together, and only later I did understand, and I think I still analyzing this. It was a feeling of coloniality that we all carry, and also inferiority complex that Russian had imposed on us for generations, telling that Ukrainian culture did not exist, that everything worthy of attention was Russian. And when I started to discover Ukrainian culture, I was shocked about how many treasures are hiding from me behind Russia propaganda, which told like there is nothing. And I was also very surprised by deep and the level of Ukrainian culture. And what is also very interesting that Ukrainian culture survived, and this is quite a phenomenon because Russians was killing Ukrainian intellectuals, and they were creating conditions in which you speak Ukrainian, you would never get a good job, you would never get some high position in society. And also, they were, of course, appropriating the greatest achievement of Ukrainians. But that's a big topic. It's not for tonight. We will maybe discuss it another time. So now I want to return to past summer. So right after my visit of Normandy, I went immediately to Kyiv, and over coffee with my friend, we talked about Normandy and the World War II memorials and all this remembrance. And I said, only by being there did I truly understand the scale of significance of these events and their importance for Europe and for the world. At school, the Allied landing was only briefly mentioned, and the emphasis was always on Red Army side. And like, some Allied, okay, they did something, but the greatest hero of victory is, of course, Russian army. And my friend, she's older than me, 7 years. She's 7 years older than me, and she said, in your school, in program, you had this, because in our school, in our program, nothing that was mentioned at all. So I think this is a very good example how facts were changing. And also, I can tell like we didn't know very good also Ukrainian history as well. So this is after pardon. In 2014, the Russian invasion of Ukraine began, and I had to flee Lugansk. So this is occupied square in Luhansk, and also security service of Ukraine building. You already can see a Russian flag there. And so I had to flee. And as every traumatizing experience, it bring me back and back. I was thinking a lot, like, why did I act this way? Could I do something differently? Like, I think many people from Luhansk was thinking of this. And later on, I realized why I act this way. And I understand, I know the answer, that I couldn't imagine that Russians could act this way. I couldn't imagine that in 21st century, people being tortured, raped, or killed, especially without any reasons. And I couldn't believe it would happen. And when it did, I hoped it would soon be resolved and that we would return to our normal life. But 11 years have passed since that. And almost 3 years I spent in Luxembourg. I arrived here in February 2023 as refugee. And what can I tell? Like, Luxembourg has given me a lot. Opportunities, inspire connections, happiness, and the chance to reflect on the past from a safe distance. Luxembourg was a place where the idea of my Ukraine began. And in the safety of Western Europe, with my life slowly regarding structure, I began looking through my personal archive of pictures, of photographs from 2004 till now, and I wanted to preserve what's no longer exists. The Ukraine that existed before the war. Creating this book was very important to me. I was to reconstruct a reality that no longer exists, but which lives on these photographs and in the memory of those who lived in Luhansk at the same time. I'm constantly amazed at how even a small country like Luxembourg has such diverse landscapes. Forests fill vineyards, which strongly remember me nature of different regions in Ukraine. And I think Ukrainians will understand me very well, because sometimes you're driving and you don't know where are you, in Luxembourg or in Ukraine. And I hope you will see it on pictures further. My Ukraine is the story of the reality in which I lived. It is my research, my memory, and my attempt to show Ukraine before the war and to tell more about Ukraine. For almost 80 years, Ukraine didn't have a voice, and world know about Ukraine through Russia perspective. And many people have no idea what Ukraine truly is, and I want to share that story. This book is my reflections and my manifesto. Most of photographs were taken in Lugansk and surrounding regions, which are now occupied. Some places, as this is Luhansk, some places, as you see now, this is a very big recreation area of forest in Crimea. They were destroyed during the ongoing hostilities that began in 2014 and intensified in 2022, before these areas also fell under occupation. This is a tragic reminder that Russian military aggression caused massive ecological destructions, harming nature, animals, and nature resources. In the book, I show Ukraine before and after invasion. This is before. This is all Luhansk region. This is you can see holidays, Ukrainians, flags, traditions, and how it was before invasion. So this is 2008. You can see like people were dressed in Ukrainian suits, like traditional clothes, and having Ukrainian traditions there. Um, I also want to show difference of different regions of Ukraine, and to tell some short stories which engaged readers to discover more by themselves. This is, I'm talking about book, not presentation. So was live. And for example, here we can see Crimea in 2008, and this is Indian summer, but at the same time we see Russian warship on the horizon, and for us it was like daily reality, nothing wrong with this. So I mean, like, this colonization, it was so deep that we even didn't pay attention, like something wrong, like we have army on our land of other country, but it was like daily routine. Or like, for example, here it's Fialand, Cape Fialand, and here you can see radio technical and air defense Russian base. So they are there above. Also, in the part of about Crimea, I mentioned the deportation of Crimean Tatars, the native people of Crimea, which like 200,000 of them were deported in few days in 1944, and it took several generations for them to come back on their own land. And in 2014, Russia again seized Crimea. I also address what I consider the most horrific modern tragedy, the destruction and occupation of Mariupol. Official data reports that Russia killed 20,000 local people, resident. But in non-official estimations, it often goes to 180,000 people. In 2022, Russian forces brought mobile crematories to Mariupol to destroy evidence of their crimes. Mariupol is now under Russian occupation, and it's being actively resettled by Russians. This is a stark example of how once Russia occupies city, they immediately attempt to erase everything Ukrainian, starting with replacing signs, despite consultingly claiming that it doesn't matter what language is spoken. This is very often Russian statement. But if it doesn't matter, why first what you do after occupation is changing names of the city. So from the left you can see it's written in Ukrainian, and from the right it's written in Russian, and already with Russian militaries. And this is also pictures from 2022, how they were changing these plates. And actually, I'm dreaming to visit Mariupol, but with Ukrainian I, which we call E, in the name, and honor memory of all who was killed by Russians. The book also features showing photographs from different regions of Ukraine. So here we have Carpathian, here is Lviv, also Lviv, Uman, Odessa, Zhytomyr region, Khortytsia, Poltava region. And this is, here I want also to show when in 2022, when full-scale invasion started, we spent 2 months close to Lviv. And on the way back, when we were going back to Kyiv, this was highway, Zhytomyr highway, close to Kyiv. This territory was occupied. And I want to show like what I saw when on the way back. And it was like a lot of burnt technique, a lot of ruinations. And on the way close to Kyiv, 40 kilometers from Kyiv, we have such park. It calls Dobra Park. It was inspired, of course, by Keukenhof in Netherlands, and he made it in collaboration. It's private project, and they have 400 hectares of land there, and like a lot of volunteers working there, like people trying to create recreation zone for people, for families. There are also swimming pools. You can find there are like ponds and etc. So it was under Russia occupation, and it was it located in village Matizhin, and it was occupied. And after the occupation, we saw 13 people of this village were killed, also including the village head, her son, and her husband. And it was, of course, mass graves. And the like local saying people were killed because they didn't want to collaborate with Russians and they didn't want to work for them. So, and what happened with this park, you can see. So this is also like pictures before and pictures after. And this is the same place. I'm staying there in 2020, May 2021 and May 2022. So you can see the difference, what Russians are doing with Ukraine. And also in this book, I want to mention a very important for Ukraine fact. And by the way, Dobra Park now is rebuilding and it's now open for visitors, so there things are going well. But I want to mention, I also showing, this is Borodyanka, this is graves of unknown people who were finding mass graves in Bucha. So it's their graves, like you can see there are numbers, like there is no information. And this is Borodyanka again, this is car cemetery close to Irpin. Civil people were just going to escape out of occupation and Russians soldiers were shooting all cars. So afterwards it looks like this. So, but it was taken already in August, so it's like 3 months after occupation. So some artists arrive, make this art. And I want also to pay attention to Bykivnya forest. It's very important memorial for now, and this is monuments for victims of Stalin repressions, and experts estimate that remains 50,000 people there, and only 70,500 were identified. So this is also very important part of our history. And I conclude the book with Kyiv, a beautiful but wounded city, a city so dear which never stopped before February 2022. But now endures a constant attack from Russia, missiles and drones. I visited Kyiv 2 months ago. Despite the horrific strikes, it was a wonderful trip because I could see my family, I could see my friends, I can see city which resist. And I can tell you that it is a really soul tearing feeling to see face of your mom or your niece. And I don't know, maybe it would be the last time when I saw them, because almost every day, every night, Kyiv under attack, and you never know. It's like terrifying lottery, like you play with death because you don't know where this rocket arrive. And usually they are striking just civilian and residential areas. Yet Ukrainians fight. They do not surrender. I hope my book helps you to understand what they're fighting and what they are standing for. During my visit, I saw a new tradition to honor fallen heroes. Across the cities, you can see, like in many cities in Ukraine, in libraries, in cafes, and restaurants, they leave table for like empty table, and it's written that it's reserved for, and visitors can write for their fallen heroes. So I think this is a great tradition, and it's new because now we have to include such traditions in life. And on the page of foundation who starts this, I saw a phrase, and it was written, "Memory is action," and it is. But I want to add that empathy is action too. And without action, these concepts lose their meaning. I urge you, remember, emphasize, and act. Because right now, Ukrainians are fighting for a peaceful European future. That's all. Thank you. And I would like to add, if you're interested, books are available after the concert. You can check. There are much more information. So please, you're welcome. So also, they are now available on Amazon. So please, if you want to discover more. And if you have any question, please. I need to repeat your question, okay? So the question was how I took pictures out of Luhansk, which were taken already under occupation. So I can tell you that now, from now point, I understand that it could cost me a lot, but for that time, I was living there and I felt like I have a right to do this. And for example, when it was this SBU building already occupied, I arrived there, like I had some shooting. It was like 1 week I flee out. And I arrived and I think, I need to take some pictures. And actually it was standing only one guy with gun machine. And he asked me like, who are you? Why are you taking these pictures? And I said, why not? And he said, I said, I would do it very quickly and I will leave. And for that time, as citizen of Luhansk, I didn't feel like he's like I feel as like it's my city, and I was very surprised, like some man not some asking me very stupid questions. So I react somehow like this, and he said, "Okay, take pictures, but very quickly, and don't take picture of me." I said, no picture of you, no problem. And now I realize it. And of course, I was visiting Luhansk every year till 2019. I was there in 2019. It was already under occupation. And I really feel like it's still my city. I am citizen of it. And I never took camera with me. I took some pictures on the phone. You can see them. They're also in books. There are several pages with all these pictures. And once they stop me and they start to ask, like, I think I already was in some database. They were asking me, what are you doing? Where do you live? I said, I live in Kyiv. And they said, what are you doing there? I said, I'm photographer. And what are you what are you shooting? And then they asked me about camera. Are you bringing camera? I think, guys, have you seen like it will be stolen? No. And I think it was like very stupid from my side to do all this, but okay, I was lucky. And now I realize how it was dangerous, because many people were really sitting in prison for several years just for some random mobile pictures. So it was just luck. That's it.
you were going back to Luhansk until 2019. Were you visiting your friends, family? Do you still have family or friends there? Do you manage to? Oh, can I ask this type of question? Because I'm really curious. Are you still able to keep in touch with people from Luhansk?
For now, yes, and still part of my family is there, but I know like many of my other relatives are saying like family is family and politics is politics, but after Bucha and after 2022, like some of my relatives they're supporting Russia regime. And like I can't handle to communicate at all. Like for me, it's really painful. I understand that it's not their exactly fault, but I can't force myself. The same, I have many like acquaintance in Luhansk. I have many acquaintance in Moscow, like who relocate from Luhansk there. I like after 2022 I can't communicate with them. For me like it's too personal and I can't manage this.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Kateryna. It was a very personal journey that you shared with us, and very, very touching. Honestly, it's like a history of Ukraine in your own family. And I don't know you, but I'm in love with the photos of Kateryna. Just very, very inspiring. Thank you very much.